we also have an enormous interview with
yeah.
a legendary current 800-meter runner, Bishop Shanahan Sr., Josh Hoey. I mean, he threw it down in Boston this weekend, 147.67, new national high school record, American U20 record as well. I mean, that was just unbelievable because we didn't see it coming. But we want to welcome Josh to the line. Josh, how are you doing right now?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Have people been congratulating you nonstop since?
Maybe just a little.
Well, let's talk about the decision to go to Boston. You know, obviously that came really late in the process. You know, everyone kind of thought you were going to go to Pennsylvania State Indoor Championships. You decided to go to this event with a men's field. Can you talk us through that process for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a big sit down between me and Coach Ullman, and we kind of talked things out. And he said that he was definitely willing to put me in the position where he thought I would be most successful, and that kind of pointed towards looking at a professional or an open meet instead of the state meet. So I was then able to talk with Coach Andy Powell, and he was able to set things up where I was going to run at the Boston meet, and from there it was simple.
Now, Pentrack reported beforehand that you were going for the state record, which was about 150, somewhere along those lines. But was that correct? Were you going for a state record, or did you think you would reasonably run under 149, somewhere in the range of where you ended up falling?
I knew that I was going into the race. I was hoping to maybe run sub 150, coming off of the DMR at the Virginia Showcase actually in January. I ran like a 150.8 split, but even then I felt like I was letting up at the line a little bit, kind of knowing that I had the 1,000 the next day, and then kind of going up to the Penn State's track and running a 151 there without the spikes. I was just feeling confident that I was ready to PR in a big way, so I was more shooting for like a sub 150.
Incredible race, but what was your strategy going into a men's field? You knew you had some fast guys in front of you. How did you execute?
I was really just trying to stay competitive in the race. So I remember going out in the first 200, and I was kind of tempted to draw back a little bit and go towards the back, considering I wasn't entirely sure of myself in the race. And I heard my dad on the backstretch just scream, "Keep running, like keep competing." And that was kind of then that I went up towards the front and was just trying to follow the leaders the whole time.
Yeah.
Was able to place well.
At VA Showcase, we saw that you weren't afraid to get a little physical, to exert yourself, among a field in that tight gap. So, did things ever get like that? Did you feel like you had to maneuver up? Did you get physical at any point? Did you have to kind of make your way through the field?
I mean, it was honestly a blessing because the race broke pretty perfectly for me, and I didn't feel impeded really in any way, and it was really nice because there was no kind of pushing or shoving at all, and it felt really, it broke perfectly.
Yeah, and our guy Travis here has said in the past that he would take you in a mile any day, and that's mostly because of your leg speed. Obviously you're really, you're fast at the 800, 1,000, the mile. But what did you have left in that final 200? Could you tell us what you split and sort of how you felt body-wise?
I didn't catch the split. I think it was around 28 high. It was tough because I had gone out a lot faster than I was used to. We went out in around 51.5, and even then, the third lap was about I believe a 27 high. So I think that leaves the last lap at around 29 mid or so. But it was tough because I definitely felt myself tying up in the last 100 meters, and it was just a matter of in my head just like get to the line, and just trying to push through kind of that like dead leg feeling, and I was able to do that.
Were you shocked? I mean, obviously you were probably shocked, but did the crowd realize what you had done after you finished?
It was actually pretty funny because I remember crossing the line, and I kind of glanced at the clock as I was finishing, and I immediately looked up at the big screen to see what the time was because I thought I saw 148, and so I looked up at the big screen and I saw 147. And I was like, and I just threw my hands in the air just in shock, and I looked across the the infield, and my dad was running and jumping and yelling, and the official goes over to him. He's like, "What's your problem?" And he goes, he's like, "My son just broke the national record," and he goes, "No way!" So then they ended up making an announcement, and I got an ovation from the crowd, and the official actually gave me the shell that he used to start the race from the gun. So nice. It was a nice moment.
Very
from
cool.
them.
Did you go through a process at all after you finished, knowing this is a national record? Did you have to be tested in any way? Did you go through any kind of certifications?
I mean, it was probably the hardest effort that I've had to put into a race, but I've always had this kind of mindset that there's always another race. And I mean, this one definitely felt more special than some of the other races I've had, and I was able to really enjoy it afterwards. And I remember just sitting down with my dad and just talking it out and just like going over all the decisions that we made that had led up to this moment. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited for finishing up the indoor season and continuing success outdoors.
Well, do you have to do anything to ratify it, though? Did you, in terms to make it official, did you have to go through any kind of process?
I haven't been approached in any way about that.
Okay. Just looking at your 800 times throughout the years, you've cut 11 seconds from your sophomore indoor time to now. That is remarkable. Can you describe the progression that you've made through these last 3 years in the 800, and what does that do for you? What does that say?
I mean, it's definitely been a long journey. I mean, I've been to 3 different high schools, and I went through training with my older brother, and then as soon as he left, that was very difficult for me. But now that I've landed here at Bishop Shanahan, the school has been like very welcoming for me, especially Coach Ullman, really supporting me and just kind of just trying to be successful. And that's kind of where I first saw my progression start to rise even more, is just through their support, especially also with Coach Terrence helping with workouts. And it's just been able to take it to a new level, especially my junior and senior year.
A couple last questions. You're an Oregon signee. We've had a couple of those guys on this show before, so congrats to that. Do you consider yourself a miler or an 800 guy moving forward? Maybe both.
I think that in the future I'll do a little bit of both. I've kind of viewed myself as a miler in the past, but I really enjoy the 800, and I'd like to kind of run a lot more of that in the spring.
What did you eat before the race?
Sorry?
What did you eat before the race?
Oh, some French toast for breakfast with eggs and fruit.
Nice. That is a championship meal. Well, Josh, congratulations on your phenomenal effort. Obviously, it's well-deserved. We'll see you in the future at New Balance, I'm assuming. Correct? You're going to New Balance?
I haven't decided what race yet, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya.
Man, what a wild, just following that this weekend was crazy. We all kind of thought maybe he'll do something fast, but that time definitely was a double take kind of moment when you look at the results.
Yeah, especially when you're looking for another guy to really go after a big effort, Brody Hasty. Like, everybody's kind of pointing themselves at that race in the mile. Yes. And then he enters late, and boom, national record.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Almost 2 seconds.
It's awesome. It's so crazy, too. Like, especially because, he's probably in the mix with the college and the professionals and everything. And their officials like, what's going on? Like, that was the funniest part of that interview, I think, is when his dad was like freaking out, and everybody's like, what just happened? Like, why are you so excited?
I think he's in the realm of possibly going after an outdoor national record now, too, in the 800. It's 146, held by Michael Granville. If he cuts some time off on that outdoor oval, I think his best is 149.
Yeah.
Man, he could have 2 records on his hand in the 800.
People call me crazy. You guys called me crazy. What do you think now about my Josh Hoey?
I will say this. I did look up the IAAF scoring table that equates to 1150, 1150, and that's a 358 mile. So, if Josh Hoey goes into the mile, it converts to that time, I think he definitely stacks up now, considering what he did. But Brody's run the 3 fastest mile times this season, so I wouldn't.
I'm still keeping it Brody.
Oh,
no.
man, Josh Hoey,
He ran an amazing race, but
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with.
high school
Those
race,
Philly,
that's
those
been
Philly
that
guys are
time.
tough too.
Yeah.
Yeah.